Today I'm going to show you how to replace the starter on this 2008 GMC Sierra. This is the same procedure for any LS-powered GMT-900, Chevy Silverado, Chevy Tahoe, Suburban, GMC Yukon, and all those, even Cadillac trucks. Start by disconnecting the battery negative cable. Raise the vehicle using a lift or floor jack. The starter bolts to the passenger side of the engine. It's held in with two vertical bolts. Remove the two vertical mounting bolts. 13mm. Now pull these wires away from the back of the starter and then lower the starter down. Pull it out of the transmission and you just kind of work it to where it'll get down far enough to where you can access the electrical connectors on the back. They're hard to get when the starter is mounted. Just pull it down about as far as it'll go. If you want, you can just pop this heat shield off. Just held on with clips. If you pull back the fender liner, you can see the positive cable right here. It's attached to the top of the frame rail with a 13mm bolt. If you remove that bolt, it gives you a lot of slack to lower the starter down and access the electrical connectors easier. So take a small ratchet, remove that bolt. Now you can lower the starter way down. You gotta kind of rotate it a little bit. You can either do that or you can undo this sway bar. But there's always a point of rotation where it drops down and you don't have to remove the sway bar. Okay, now you can see the electrical connectors on the solenoid. Remove the large positive connection from the battery with 13mm. Then remove the smaller connector, starter signal wire, with an 8mm. Once that cable is detached, you can just lower the starter down and it's out. Take the new starter and remove the new nuts and washers. And get it in place roughly the same position as the starter that came out. Start by connecting the smaller starter signal wire, slide on the lock washer, and then spin on the new nut. Your starter may be different and not come with a lock washer. It doesn't matter. Tighten it down, 8mm. Now get the large positive connection. Pull it down. Now you'll notice that the larger positive ring terminal has this tab. That tab has to pilot into this little groove. I don't know if you can see it. So just make sure that falls into place. The lock washer on the positive stud. And spin the nut on. Start cranking it down. Making sure that that tab goes into its groove. Tighten it down, 13mm. Now, shove the starter back in there. Then you can put the heat shield back on. I'll get it up and over, and be careful not to pinch or tear the crank position sensor wiring harness. So it's close by. Just get it around these trans cooler lines, and then should get it into a position to slide into the trans bell housing. Just like that. And there you go. And then you can start putting the 2 bolts in. You might have to grab and shake and wiggle the starter a little bit to get the bolts to find the threads. There we go, that's that one. And then start the other one. Do not tighten one bolt until you've got both of them started. Once you've got them started at least a couple of turns, then you can start tightening them down with a tool. It's about a 1/4 turn past snug is all these need. Make sure none of the surrounding wiring harnesses are pinched on anything. Everything should move around freely. Take that 13mm bolt and reattach where this positive harness attaches to the frame. It can be tricky to find the bolt hole. You just gotta kind of find it by feel. There it is. Tighten that down with your fingers. And come in with a tool, crank it down. There you go. Make sure that positive lead does not rub on the frame rail. If you see it's kind of close to the frame rail, just take a pry bar and just kind of pry it away from there. Just like this. There you go. That's perfect. Alright, starter is done. Now just reconnect your battery terminal. Now start it up, make sure everything's good. Sounds good. Much stronger. If this video helped you, please consider supporting the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Thanks for watching.